Hello everybody, That's It for Life here, bringing you guys a brand new deck profile this time around. It is my Cyber Dragons. Cyber Dragons are a lot of fun to play, especially right now since they got a few new cards. Sadly they only got 2 new cards. I wish they got more, but the 2 that they did get are amazing and they're really good extract monsters. Like one of them is a meta-defining monster. Now, this deck is a lot of fun to play. It's all about the OTKs. Has a little bit of a lockdown thing with Cyber Dragon Infinity, but aside from that, it's not too much of a lockdown deck. It's much more of a explosive, in-your-face OTK before you even know it deck. And I'm gonna go ahead and just get on with this before I get onto a tangent. Now then, first and foremost, I play 3 Cyber Dragons. I feel like you need to play 3. It's Cyber Dragon, you need him for the deck. He's kind of like the key card of the deck and everything, obviously. And he's a level 5, and he's really easy to summon out of your hand. You just gotta have, your opponent just has to have a monster, and you gotta have nothing. Now, I play 3 Cyber Dragon Dry. This guy, whenever he is normal summoned, he can make all Cyber Dragon monsters you control, level 5. That does include himself, and that is really nice. The sad thing is that you can't go into anything except for machines the turn you do that. Very, very, very annoying, but hey, if you like wait a turn, or if you, yeah, basically all you gotta do is wait a turn if you want to go in any other rank 5, which is why literally all you really need for rank 5 is a Cyber Dragon Nova. It's a very good card. If he's banished, you get to target a Cyber Dragon you control, and it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects for the rest of that turn. Used in conjunction with a trap card that we'll see later on, it's really, really effective. Also, he's treated as Cyber Dragon while on the field and in the graveyard. That is very, very important. Next up, 3 Cyber Dragon Swai. He can be treated as Cyber Dragon if you reveal a spell card, and while he's in the graveyard, he's always treated as Cyber Dragon. If he attacks a monster, he gains 300 attack. He's really not that much of an impressive monster, but I'm playing him right now because I don't have 2 Infinity, and I don't think I'll have 2 Infinity until either Infinity drops in price, or if I get lucky and pull one out of another pack or something. But if you do have 2 Infinity, I recommend you swap this guy out for either Solar Windjammer, or more preferably Toon Cyber Dragon, because Toon Cyber Dragon is still a Cyber Dragon, and that can be useful for other cards. So yeah, if you have 2 Infinity, I recommend playing Toon Cyber Dragon over this guy, but if you don't have 2 Infinity, I recommend playing this guy over Toon Cyber Dragon. Next up, I play 3 Cyber Dragon Core. This card is one of the key cards that you want to see. You want to draw this guy very, very often. More preferably, you want to, like, if you're going first, you want to summon this guy and like set a whole bunch of back row on your turn and hope to God you have Honest. Now, the reason why you want to summon this thing is because when this guy is normal summoned, you get to search out any cyber spell or trap card. That is very, very good and very, very important. Also, if he is in the graveyard and you control no monsters and your opponent controls a monster, you can banish him and spell summon any Cyber Dragon monster from your main deck. That is also very useful. And while he's on the field, and in the graveyard, he's traded as Cyber Dragon, which is, again, very, very important. Next up, playing 3 Galaxy Soldier. This guy's really for rank 5 spam. That's about it. Basically, you discard a light monster, special summon him, and then whenever you do, you get to add another, basically another copy of him. He's really here to go into Nova easier, and possibly even go into Infinity as well. Really, aside from him though, I honestly don't like him unless I have more than 1 Infinity, but you absolutely do need him. He can get Core in the graveyard, which you want him in the graveyard, and it just helps speed up the deck a lot, really, to be completely honest. Plus, having 2,000 attack isn't that bad. Next up, I play 2 Honest. Kind of mandatory for a light deck. Heck, if we had him at 3, I'd totally be playing him at 3. And then finally, 1 Cyber Eltanen. This guy I'm actually very much considering dropping, only because he's not as good as he used to be. Now, for those who don't know what Cyber Eltanen does, is he cannot be normal summoned or set, he must be special summoned by banishing all light monsters on your side of the field and in the graveyard. That is mandatory. You must banish everything, and that is very, very, very annoying. Now, what he does do is he gets, I believe it's, 500 attack for each monster banished. He also gets that defense as well. And whenever he is summoned, he gets rid of all other monsters on the field. He sends them all to the graveyard. Now, you may be wondering, okay, why do you want to drop him? First and foremost, he banishes everything. Secondly, it's not very good against pendulums because they don't get sent to the graveyard, so you don't get to attack for a crap ton of damage. That is the downside to him now due to pendulums. Now, he does work in conjunction with a trap card that you'll see later on, and it's very, very useful, but I just don't like having to banish everything. I don't know what I would replace him with, but right now I'm just playing him as a one-of. He's good late game, really, that's all. Can also win you games, like if your opponent has a field of Xyz and stuff, it is amazing. Next up, I play 3 Cyber Repair Plant. This is one of the main cards you're going to be searching off of core. You can only activate it if you have a Cyber Dragon in a graveyard. It has 2 effects, and if you have 3 or more Cyber Dragons in your graveyard, you can activate both effects. So the first effect is add a Light Machine type monster from your deck to your hand. That is very, very good. You can even search out Galaxy Soldier. And the other effect is put a Light Machine type monster in your graveyard back into your deck. Very, very good. Both effects are very good. Helps recur stuff, helps search stuff. It is just absolutely amazing. And I also honestly love that artwork. Next up, 2 Power Bond. I want to bump this up to 3, but finding Power Bond is surprisingly difficult. Power Bond, for those who don't know, it's basically a polymerization for machine type monsters. And when you do, that monster's attack is doubled. But at the end phase of that turn, you take damage equal to the original attack of the monster. So if you want to go for Cyber End Dragon, you take 4,000 damage at the end phase, but you get an 8,000 beat stick that does piercing. It is amazing. I absolutely want to play 3 of this, but it is just so difficult finding Power Bonds. Like, nobody has them, and it drives me nuts. So I'm playing 2 right now, and want to bump it up to 3 as soon as possible. Partly because of this card right here, Cybernetic Fusion Support. I was so happy when we finally got this set or 2 ago. I think it came out, yeah, it came out in crossover here. So basically what this does is you pay half your life points. This turn, if you fusion summon a machine type fusion monster, you can use monsters from your hand, field, or graveyard as the fusion materials. Absolutely amazing card, especially when used in conjunction with Power Bond. Now then, the only downside to this is if you activate this and Power Bond into Cyber End Dragon, you have to win that turn, because at the end phase you'll take 4,000 damage. Unless like your opponent upstarted you and you can survive that. But for the most part, this card is absolutely amazing. It's so useful with Power Bond and everything. I absolutely love this card. I only play 2 of it because paying half your life points to do that is a bit risky. Next up, I play 2 Twin Twisters, obvious reasons, and also I want core in the graveyard, so it's very, very useful. For those who don't know, it's basically an MST for 2, but you gotta discard a card, so generally speaking, you want to discard core, pop 2 spell or trap cards, and get those out of your way, because this is very much an OTK deck, and back row is an OTK deck's nightmare. Also, it can be useful for popping pendulum skills and stuff. Next up, I play 2 Machine Dupe. Once I get my 3rd Power Bond, I'm probably going to drop a Machine Dupe for it. That's what I'm thinking right now, at least, because really all Machine Dupe is useful for is normal summoning core, activating this, targeting core, and then summoning out 2 Cyber Dragons from your deck, and then going for a Nova. Granted, that is an amazing, just being able to do that, and I absolutely love this card in this deck, but there's just not enough targets in this deck to warrant really any more than 2 copies of this card in the deck. I used to play Cyber Larva, and that kind of warranted more than like 1 or 2, but I don't know. Anyways, next up for the one-ofs, I play 1 Regeki, 1 Overload, and 1 Limiter Removal. Regeki for clearing out the opponent's board so I can go for an OTK. Limiter Removal because having a 16,000 attack point Cyber End Dragon is amazing. I can't even describe how awesome that is. And then Overload Fusion, I'm playing 1 of it. I might bump it up to 2 later on. It's basically a Miracle Fusion for machine type monsters, but however you can only go for darks, and I really am thinking about bumping it up to 2, but I only got 1 copy right now, and I've been testing it out at 1, and it's very, very useful at 1, and that's kind of the reason why I'm thinking about bumping it up to 2 is because of just how useful it is. Now then, that's all the spells. Onto the traps. I played 2 Cyber Network. This is the trap card that I've been kind of alluding to the entire time. Basically, what this says is that during your 3rd standby phase after activation, this gets destroyed. Okay, Now, if you have a Cyber Dragon out on the field, and it has to be the original Cyber Dragon or a monster that pretends to be the original Cyber Dragon, you can banish any Light Machine type monster from your deck once per turn during your player's turn. This is very, very good. Now, whenever it gets destroyed, it doesn't matter how or when, whether it's by its unaffected it gets destroyed or if your opponent MSTs it or something. Destroy all spell and trap cards you control. And then, if you do, special summon as many banished Light Machine type monsters as possible. But they cannot attack and their effects cannot be activated. This card is amazing. Okay, you can't conduct your battle phase that turn. But however, this card is amazing. And just being able to slowly stack up your Banish Zone, activate Dry's effect, protect your Cyber Dragons, and it is just amazing. It is a bit slow, but however, it's very, very good. Like if this is the one card you have back there and your opponent tries to like Dragon Pit or something, activate it, chain it, banish the Cyber Dragon, get a free monster. I don't like how it destroys all your back row, especially since I do play a fair amount of back row, but it's still an amazing card. Next up, I play 2 Phoenix Chain. This card is absolutely necessary, I think, right now for some decks, especially for this deck. Like, seriously, some cards out there can just totally ruin this deck. Not to mention being able to negate Skulker Bat is very, very nice. Next up, I play 2 Powerful Rebirths. If you guys don't know what this is, it's basically called a Haunted, but however, whenever you activate it, that monster goes up 1 level, so you bring back one of your level 4s, it becomes level 5, you go for a rank 5. Very, very good card. Oh, and it also gains 100 attack and defense. Not that that's very, I don't know, relevant. It's a very nice card for just being able to make a rank 5 easily. DNA Surgery, I play 2 of it because making everything machine can really screw over your opponent, and it allows you to go into Chimera Tech, Fortress Dragon very easily with your opponent's monsters. And then for the 1-ofs, I play 1 Torrential and 1 Solemn for disrupting my opponent's plays. I absolutely love these cards right now, just being able to just Solemn Warning a Pendulum Summon or Torrentialing a Pendulum Summon and screwing over your opponent's plays is very, very, very nice. I absolutely love these cards right now in this deck. Now on to the extra deck. For the non-Cyber Dragon stuff, I play 1 Gaga Cowboy, 1 Castel, 1 101, 1 Gear Gigant X, because everything's machine, and then 1 Focusaurus, and that's about it. Now, I don't really play very many rank 5s in this deck because of Dry's restriction to only being able to summon out machines, and there's only a few rank 5 machines, one of which is a Chronomaly monster, and his effect is honestly not that useful right now. Now then, on to the Cyber Dragon stuff. I played 2 Cyber Dragon Nova. Absolutely necessary. I'm honestly thinking about getting a 3rd because this card is just so amazing in this deck. And then 1 Cyber Dragon Infinity. I want to bump him up to 2 if I can get a hold of a 2nd one. That's a big if. Right now he's a $50 card and I do not want to chug out that money for just a single piece of paper. Now if he drops down to 30, maybe, or if I can pull a 2nd one, I would love to, but right now I'm dealing with 1. And again, I kind of want to bump up Nova to 3, but 2's right now working very well. Now then, on to the fusions, because I play a good number of fusions. 1 Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon works in conjunction with DNA Surgery and just being able to just disrupt your opponent's plays and clear a board. I play 2 Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon. This is one of the new guys. Honestly, for this deck, I honestly have to say he's probably better than Infinity. People are going to hate me for saying that, but here's the thing. When this guy comes out, okay, he needs 2 or more Cyber Dragons, okay? And it doesn't have to be Cyber Dragon himself, it can be 2 or more Cyber Dragon monsters. You get to pop any number of spell trap cards your opponent controls equal to the number of fusion materials he used for him. So at minimum of 2, you're going to get rid of 2 free back row. And once per turn, you can send 2 Light Machine type monsters from your deck to the graveyard. He gets 2 more attacks. He gets 1 additional attack for each card you send. That is just amazing. And by the way, these effects are not they are once per turn for that specific monster, but like if you have 2 of these guys out, you get both effects. And it is just absolutely amazing. He is the main guy you want to power bond for. He becomes 4,200. He can attack 3 times. It's going to be game almost every time this thing attacks. Now then, I play 2 Cyber Twin Dragon. He is absolutely amazing. You just need 2 Cyber Dragons to go into him, and he can attack twice. If you power bond into him, he's 5600. Can usually end the game right there. It's absolutely amazing. Then I play 1 Cyber End Dragon, power bond into him. He's 8000 attack and is a piercer, and it is just amazing. I actually, okay, here's a quick little story. Back whenever E-Dragons were at their full power, and I was still testing out the new versions of this deck back when the Structure Deck came out. Some guy went into Dracossack with E-Dragons, put him in defense, had the 2 tokens, power bonded for this thing, and attacked for game with 1 hit. It was awesome. Alrighty, now that's enough of that. And then 1 Chimera Tech Over Dragon. If you guys don't know what this guy does, he needs Cyber Dragon plus 1 or more machine type monsters. So if you're going to overload fusion for this thing, you kind of want to go for everything as possible. He gets 800 attack per number of fusion materials, and he can attack that number of times too, equal to the number of fusion materials. And, sorry, let me double check that. Each turn discarding can attack opponent's monster equal to, he gets a number of attacks equal to the number of fusion materials he used, but however he has to attack opponent's monsters, and when he is summoned, all other cards you control get sent to the graveyard, which is very, very, very annoying. Now then, guys, that's the deck. I absolutely love this deck. It is so much fun. I might even take it to tournament if I can get me a 3rd Nova. It's just such an awesome deck, and I really do recommend it if you guys can play it. It is such a fun deck. You don't need Infinity, but however, you kind of do also. So it's up there. Like, you can play this deck perfectly fine without Infinity. He's just he's kind of like the icing on the cake. The very, very evil icing on top of the cake. So guys, tell me what you think of the deck. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day. Peace out.